If you would keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, I know. Keep coming back for you time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Ocean in between us, still I feel your heartbeat. There's something about you, baby, that makes me feel complete. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, I know. Keep coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. 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 Baby, I got you. 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 The world is going wild when they call for you. The river's running dry when it all falls through. Don't you worry about a thing, baby, I got you. Yeah, baby, I got you.
Hello, my royal diamonds. Thank you so much for tuning into the Duchess of Success podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment on the video to help the algorithm find us. It is my pleasure to bring you all of the royal tea, honey. And if you would like to donate to the channel, please check out the links in the description box. All of your donations help to keep the channel running. Thank you for your support, and remember, you don't need a crown to be royal. We are all queens. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's special podcast where we will be focusing on the topic of Kate, why she has disappeared, all the theories we have, and a very, very detailed timeline. And I have my co-host with me today, Lightside, say hey, hey. Lightside, are you talking? Can't seem to. Oh wait, no, I think we can hear you now.
Can you hear? Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope everyone's doing well. I am dying to hear from you guys. I miss hearing your voices, but I know Anne is gonna do something in the future. So I'm holding tight.
Yeah, I will. Oh, do you know what? Let's see how long we take going through today's timeline, and if yeah, we'll see how long this takes. I may or may not do calls today, but I think it'll be nice to actually just have like one podcast where we're just doing calls. But I really want to, yeah, let's just get in to it today, and I really want to hear your thoughts as well, like side. And thank you so much for jumping on today. So yes, where is Kate? That's the question. And let me just reiterate that yes, Kate Middleton does have the right to privacy. And I'm so glad that we all finally know what privacy is and what that means. It's just that Meghan was not afforded that same privacy when she was going through it, even in her darkest hour. And because the palace are being so weird about all of this, it has left this vacuum where people are coming up with all kinds of theories, and it's quite interesting that um sorry how the palace has handled all of this, how they're handling the speculation from the Spanish tabloids. Then they've said that they're upset, or they've leaked that they're upset, but they're not denying it. They haven't gone after the Spanish press, and they haven't really done anything to shut down much of the speculation. There was a um, a couple of words said by quote sorry Kate's quote unquote people, and we'll get into that a little bit later because they have come out swinging. Um, but otherwise, it's been very hush hush, and the rollout of the announcement of Kate, going into surgery, the way it was worded, and then it coming out that, Charles was going through things as well. It's all just been very weird. So we're going to do a full timeline. But of course, the internet jumped on this. And what's interesting is that a lot of the memes that are going viral and the conversation isn't even from within the royal space or from, the Sussex squad. I mean, you've got Ryanair always, because they just have to. Ryanair is Irish, so we have to get some jokes. Saying Kate Middleton spotted in Ireland. They also did a tweet when hashtag Prince of Pegging started to go viral. Even Pretty Little Thing, this clothing company, and also Kate Middleton being seen with Pete Davidson, because that'll definitely make her popular with the kids on these TikTok streets if she was to get with Pete Davidson and divorce William. And Pete Davidson seems to be able to get any woman, high profile woman, that is suddenly single. One of the strange rumors that seems to have taken off is that Kate got a BBL. I do not think that Kate Middleton has got a BBL. I actually don't think that she's gotten surgery at all. But this is one of the rumors that took off, and this was on Sky News Australia. I believe this is Darren Grimes. This is the guy who, instead of focusing on his personal issues, has spent much of his time hating on Harry and Meghan. But this is what he had to say on Australian Sky News.
One of the key problems is...
Oh, sorry, my friends, that is the wrong audio.
First one is that he didn't want to be pictured with Prince Andrew. He certainly didn't want to be sat next to Prince Andrew, which, as I understand it, was actually the seating plan at this memorial service. So he pulled out partly because of that, but also, yes, almost definitely because of Kate's health. Now, Kate has already not been seen for close to 3 months since her mysterious illness and procedure that took place. We are now hearing that it could be another couple of months. Speculation is mounting. Now, what is interesting is that, of course, when there's this void, then it is often filled by conspiracy theories. And there's all of this talk doing the rounds at the moment about, has she had some kind of Brazilian butt lift, which I would be absolutely amazed if that's true, although, of course, we will one day find out. However, I think the reality is that Kate obviously is very, very unwell, and William clearly needs to do a lot of the looking after for her. So deeply concerning times here, especially given the state of our king as well. The first one.
I am going to blame the fabulous audience over at Tisa Tells for creating this BBL rumor. This is 100% their fault. Tisa Tells, if you listen to me, I love you, by the way. This is 100% their audience's fault. Because I remember when this whole thing kicked off, people were tweeting, oh, maybe she's, gotten surgery. But the only place I saw this thing about the BBL was in the Tisa Tell comment section. So shout out to Tisa Tell and her audience. This is all your fault. On a more serious note, though, I do think that it's a lot more serious than just a BBL. I do generally think that there is something wrong with Kate. And I believe that it is all the fault, as it always is, of this wretched institution and what it does to people. And unfortunately, Kate herself played into some of that. And I think she thought that as long as she was acting as an agent against Meghan, that would somehow save her. Nothing saves you in this institution. Absolutely nothing. So I don't think she's completely innocent in her part to play in the bullying of Meghan and how Harry and Meghan were chased out of the UK. However, nonetheless, I wouldn't wish anything bad on anyone. And, of course, she's the mother of 3 children who, have been born into this institution without a choice and also must be absolutely going through it. But more the reason why she should have been more of a friend to Meghan and she should have supported Meghan and Harry. Because this institution, if it has to protect itself, it will chew you up and spit you out as and when it's done with you. And the British tabloids, either they know and they're itching to tell us what is going on, or they don't know and they want more access. Because now we're getting more and more articles, even from the likes of the Daily Fail, like this. The only way to stop the ugly rumours and speculation is for the royals to come clean about Kate and Charles's health. And of course, yes, there are also questions about how severe Charles's cancer is, what stage it's at, what type of cancer it is. Also, but the main story here being Kate. And Henry VIII tweeted this, and I agree. She said, I just can't think of a rational reason why they wouldn't have released a photograph of Kate Middleton by now outside of they literally cannot. And this is true. Not a single photo, even when she was supposedly leaving the hospital. And there are questions as to whether or not she was even in that hospital or in that hospital at the time. So let's get to it. The timeline. So, right. So this is by Counterfeits on Twitter, who did a fantastic job of creating this timeline. Thank you to you. She said, here is a simplified spread of the Kate Middleton royal family situation. I'm not a royalist, however, I love mess. And this is one of the reasons that this, I think, has gone so viral, because there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily royalists or even interested in the royal family at all, but they are now curious. So, on December the 25th, 2023, this was the last time Kate Middleton was seen in public during the royal family's annual Christmas walk to church in Sarandon, and she looks fine here. Her usual self, in her coat dress and Mary Poppins cosplay, looking very jolly. Now then, we move on to December 28th, 2023. Kate Middleton is reportedly admitted to hospital. Now, we don't actually know this for a fact. The reason why December 28th keeps coming up is because of a motorcade. Supposedly, this was a royal motorcade that was seen heading towards a hospital in central London. That is why December 28th keeps coming up. However, I have seen nothing that actually confirms this, even from the tabloids. The only thing that would suggest that something happened on December 28th that I've actually seen is a very short clip. It's like a 2-3 second clip of some kind of motorcade in central London. And at the time, that clip did not go viral until after people started asking about a month later, where is Kate? It seemed to evade everyone. but there's no actual confirmed reports or evidence that I have seen, unless anybody wants to correct me, that that was actually when she was admitted into hospital. Right, so then we come to January 17th, 2024. Kensington Palace announces that Kate has undergone a planned abdominal surgery and that she will remain in hospital for 10 to 14 days before returning home to continue her recovery. Now, what was strange about this is that they said that it's a planned abdominal surgery when Kate and William already had a tour planned and booked. So, how can you say that you took somebody in for a planned surgery, but you also had a tour booked, which you had to cancel? So, although the official statement says that the surgery was planned, it also goes on to say that she has had to postpone her upcoming engagements, which is odd because if the surgery was planned, why would she have engagements scheduled during the recovery period? The statement also says that she will not be undertaking public duties until after Easter, which is March 31st, which is just over 10 weeks after the surgery took place. Now, it begs the question, what surgery is this that would take that long for you to recover from? Is Kate just ill physically, or is there something else going on? Also, on January 17th, 2024, Buckingham Palace announces that King Charles um, has sought treatment for an enlarged prostate and he will be going into hospital a week later for a corrective procedure. Now, it is wild that these were announced on the same day, merely hours apart. It's also noteworthy that while Kate's surgery was announced after the fact, Charles's procedure was announced a week in advance. Indeed. And we know that the palace are very careful and selective about when things are announced, who in the family gets to announce what, when, and how. So, for both of those things to be announced on the same day, it's true that I think there is something about that that's quite strange. So then we move on to January 21st. So Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, the ex-wife of Prince Andrew, is diagnosed with skin cancer after being treated for breast cancer in June 2023. Then January 26th, King Charles undergoes his procedure for an enlarged prostate in the same facility where Kate Middleton is recovering. People magazine states that King Charles also paid a visit to the Princess of Wales in the same hospital ahead of his own surgery. Right, and then we move on to January 18th, 2024. One day after Kate's surgery was announced, Prince William is seen visiting her in hospital. And apparently he was only there for, less than an hour? And he arrived by himself. We haven't seen the Middletons. Uncle Gary, who's usually the spokesperson and the mouthpiece, seems to be very quiet. January 18th, People magazine states that William has shifted his schedule to support his wife and is expected to postpone engagements to be by Kate's side and support their family. They have 3 children, George, Charlotte, and Louis. But we then see William hanging around with Tom Cruise, going to the BAFTA Awards after he hasn't been for 7 years. Now, the year his wife gets taken in for a major abdominal surgery, as claimed by the palace, he decides to go and hang out with movie stars. Anyway, on January the 29th, King Charles is discharged from the clinic and is photographed leaving with his wife. Sorry, wait, hang on a minute. I've put these are slightly out of order. Okay, my apologies. On January the 27th, Camilla visits Charles 3 times within 24 hours. And what's interesting is, as Camilla is visiting Charles, in all of the headlines, it's Camilla is visiting Charles. That's what all the headlines are saying. They're not saying Camilla is visiting Charles and Kate. In fact, I don't remember seeing any headlines saying that Camilla had seen Kate, talk to Kate. I don't even remember Camilla saying anything about how Kate is doing. I saw her saying that Charles was doing fine when someone asked her, but she's almost not commenting on Kate at all. Has anybody heard Camilla comment on Kate? January 29th, Kensington Palace announced that Kate has returned to Windsor to continue her recovery from surgery and that she is making good progress. There are no photos of her leaving the hospital. I want to know how she managed to slip out with no photos. Press in the front, press in the back. Public waiting there as well. Smooth operator. And on that same day, January 29th, King Charles is discharged from the clinic and is photographed leaving with Camilla. So we got photographs of Charles and Camilla leaving, but not of Kate leaving somehow. There were photos of what looked like Kate's very angry assistant in a car with a handbag, and that was it. February 5th, Buckingham Palace announces that the King has been diagnosed with cancer and has commenced a schedule of regular treatments, but says that he will still be undertaking state business and official paperwork. Interesting to note that this statement concludes with saying that Charles chose to share his diagnosis to prevent speculation, which almost seems like a shot at the Wells' secrecy surrounding Kate's health and increasing rumours. Indeed, absolutely seems like a shot. And you know that Camilla has been scheming, because if Charles is sharing his diagnosis to prevent speculation, well, then why haven't we got more details about Kate? On to the next thing. So, February 8th, Prince Harry leaves. Oh, okay. I think I may have. Okay, sorry, I put the I put this screen prints the wrong way around again. So February 7th. So we're looking at the middle one. My apologies. February 7th, William undertakes his first official engagement since Kate's release from hospital. And this is the engagement where he is swaying like a flag, blinking like there's flies flying around his eyes, holding his stomach like he's trying to hold in throwing up or something, and just not looking very good at all. And he's dropping the pins. You can't even put the pins on people's jackets properly. And then, also on February 7th, Harry flies from California to the UK to see his father after his cancer diagnosis. And then on February 8th, Harry leaves the UK after 24 hours to fly home to California after a 48-minute visit with his, for a 45-minute visit with his father. And we're still unsure about what that conversation was about, why Harry flew over, what was going on, why was it so short. And apparently he just met with Charles. Camilla wasn't there, William wasn't there, Kate wasn't there. February 10th, Buckingham Palace releases a statement thanking the public for their support following the King's cancer diagnosis. February 18th, Prince William attends the BAFTA Awards, having not attended for 7 years, but deciding to do so the year that his wife is having a major abdominal surgery and is very ill. And while he is there, he tells the actress of a film that ends in her being sexually assaulted that it must have been great to film that movie, but he hasn't seen it yet. Hence, he didn't know the contents of the movie, despite the fact that he is BAFTA president. And then February 21st, we get multiple stories and pictures of Pippa in St. Bart's. Now, the person who tweeted this, they actually tweeted the wrong article. So this is from 2023, but there have been at least 2 or 3 articles of Pippa Middleton being photographed with her family that are more recent. So just the person used the wrong screenshot here. And so because Pippa Middleton was photographed, people are speculating, well, is Kate's condition not as bad as it could be? Does her sister just not care? I mean, who knows with this strange family? But Pippa Middleton was out, so at the very least, I think we know that Kate is alive, because that was, people were even speculating, is this woman still even alive? Like, can we get a sign of life, please? So Pippa Middleton is happy. There, we can at least, I think, say that she's still breathing. Also, in between all of this, the person has actually forgotten to add, who's part of this timeline actually, is the Spanish press. The Spanish press not just doubling down, but tripling down on claims that Kate is in a coma. And the palace leaking that they are upset about that, and what the Spanish press has said, but they're not pushing back any further. They're not suing anyone. They're not going after anyone. They're not releasing the hounds. So there's also that detail that this person missed out. And then we come to February 23rd. Buckingham Palace releases video of the king reading Get Well cards, which were sent to him. It has now been 60 days since Kate Middleton has been seen in public or photographed. Then we come to February 25th. Thomas Kingston, husband of Lady Gabriella Windsor, first cousin of Queen Elizabeth, is found dead at the age of 45. Police have said there are no suspicious circumstances surrounding his sudden death. Kingston ran in the same circles as the royals and was even rumoured to have dated Pippa Middleton in 2011, around the time of William and Kate's wedding. February 27th, Prince William pulls out of attending the funeral of the late King Constantine of Greece, his godfather, due to a personal matter. William was scheduled on the order of the service to do a reading. And the Royal Rotarats, 4 of them, Roy, Nika, Richard Eden, I think Emily Andrews or Rebecca English, all absolutely desperate to let us know that that William pulling out of this memorial had nothing to do with Thomas Kingston's death for some reason. Not that anybody was making that link in the first place, but they really wanted to let us know this. So royal source who broke the news also said that that Kate Middleton continues to be doing well despite her not being seen or photographed in 64 days at this point. Now, mind you, it's not unusual for Kate to go missing for about a month and a half at the beginning of the year anyway, if you look back at her work schedule over the years. So goes on to say, now at this point, the general public has caught on to the fact that Kate's absence continues to be glaringly obvious. With her and King Charles out of commission and William largely MIA, royal duties have fallen to other members of the royal family. Duties with a small d, because really, what do these people do? This is a problem because a lot of these members are older. Camilla, 76, Princess Anne, 73, Prince Edward, 59, and Duchess Sophie, 59. Edward and Sophie, by the way, are on holiday skiing and undertaking the bulk of duties, and they are undertaking the bulk of duties at the moment. Since the Queen's death, Harry and Meghan's retreat, the family has lost a lot of its brand's star power. And it started losing it quite rapidly after the death of Diana. And she ends by saying, the Welleses, William and Kate, are also famously work shy, while Princess Anne, Charles' sister, consistently undertakes the most yearly engagements despite being significantly older than the Welleses. 457 in 2023, but we can't actually measure what impact that had. And even the most hardline royalists can't actually tell me what Anne does other than to show up at places. That's what they do. They show up at places and have their picture taken. No impact created whatsoever. So 456 press calls for absolutely nothing. And so here we find ourselves. 60, what is this? Day 65 of Kate gone missing, and still nothing. Now, Kate's people, as it was put in a statement, said Kensington Palace made it clear in January the timeline of the princess's recovery and would only be providing significant updates. That guidance stands. Well, we went from 3 to 4 months, and then there was leaks of up to 9 months. So, is Catherine hiding or is she hidden? Is she silent or has she been silenced? Lightside, your intake, please. That's the end of the timeline.
Patiently waiting. Whoo, boy. Um,
Yeah, we're
so many
definitely about
things
that.
to say. So many things to say. Um, I'm gonna try to be as concise as possible, but first, let me just say this. Um,
Mhm.
you said that it was about what is it? What were you thinking? It is been about 65 days or so. It sounds about right.
Mm.
Since say Christmas was the last time that she was seen publicly
Yeah.
or something to that effect. So here's what I'm going to say, and you know I hope that this is not put this channel on whomever's radar again, because my crazy suspicion is the last time we started delving into this where's Kate situation and what was going on was right at the time that they really narrowed in on your channel and
Mhm.
started doing some crazy stuff, you know. So you're, I think, you know, I'm gonna say this, I think you're definitely on some folks' radar, because not so much that you're doing anything wrong, but because of how close some of the reporting has been on this topic. um but I'm gonna put this out there and say that a lot of us are questioning, I think, the core of the Sussex squad, the people who follow Harry and Meghan, who, for the most part, defend the things that they say, to counter some of the lies that are put in by the UK media, some of the people who dislike Harry and Meghan, the derangers, I call them the bitters. Um, those people, we see a lot. We have to pay attention to a lot of things, and we're very quick about pointing out the inconsistencies and the hypocrisies of a lot of that stuff. So we've been calling it since day one. Like, where is she? You know, what's going on? Why didn't she show up for this event? She pulled out, like, you know. But at the same time, we also know, as you said, that they're work shy. It's not too strange to see them missing in action.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, especially within, like you said, the last week or 2 weeks, you're starting to see bigger media,
Mm.
not not just like the tabloid folks in the UK, but people here in the United States asking, where is Kate?
Forbes
Okay.
magazine, Bazaar, Vogue.
Yeah, and when you see people, when you see Vogue, when you see Glamour, you know something is wearing back there, and they're questioning and asking and realizing that something strange is going on. So, you know, again, validation for our people for being on point with that stuff. But there is something weird going on, and I have to say that let's go way back to when we first started talking about, you know, what was really happening when it came out that she apparently had abdominal surgery. I think the announcement publicly, at least for most of us, was the same day that we heard Charles announced that he had to go in for some kind of checkup because of his prostate. At the time, we weren't really sure what was going on. As you said, they move very carefully. They're very astute in releasing information to the public, to the news media, very carefully. So it was already a red flag that those two incidences were announced on the same day, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the first clues, you know. And further down the line, we're realizing there's a lot of things that just really aren't adding up. And then going back and looking at that timeline and saying, okay, so she was kind of not showing up for one event before, but now you're saying we haven't seen her since Christmas, but she had all these events planned out, and this is a planned procedure. And so she had this planned procedure on the books, but then had all these other events planned at the same time. That's not making sense. What is not adding up here? The only time you have cancellations on your books like that, when you actually put down and make a commitment to an event, that you're going to show up. And as you said, these people aren't really working. I'm sorry if I insult anyone that follow them, but this isn't a job for them. They're showing up and doing a photo shoot, basically, and saying that this is work, and ticking off that day off the calendar to get to their numbers. So they show up for these events. When you have these events planned and then you say, you know what, I can't show up for these because I actually had a planned procedure on the books and we're just going to go ahead and do this. That's not really true. What it seems more in line with is that this was an emergent procedure. An emergent procedure meaning something that was really unplanned, something that was maybe unexpected, something that maybe had to be pushed up because of the nature of severity of what was going on. As someone that worked in the hospital environment and is in kind of the healthcare sphere, I can tell you that this was something that was more serious. Now, the other question that's come up since is, especially since we haven't seen Kate in a minute, and all we've been getting is hearsay from some of her people saying she's fine, she's recovering, is that this was probably more of a bigger procedure than was expected. And when you start covering and hiding more, we start asking more questions, because now it looks like you're really hiding something that is bigger than what you're trying to sell it as, right? So they could, we talked about this, you and I, they could have garnered a lot of sympathy by saying, you know, Kate had this procedure. This is what she had. We really didn't expect it to be this serious, but we really hope that the community can come around and give their support. You get less questions asked from the public when you have less secrecy surrounding someone that you know as a younger royal, a younger senior royal, who would have been in the limelight, especially in lieu of Chucky being in his situation, right? You would have garnered more sympathy. William would have garnered more sympathy in the public, being the only one in that situation to step out and having to carry all this stuff. But they played it wrong, and they're messing up, and their stories aren't lining up. And as someone said in the chat, two people, I think, I can't remember, Minxie Martin made this point saying that Kate's birthday was, I think, the 9th of January. Even through all her... Go ahead.
Sorry, that's another thing that we actually missed out. And thank you. I did see that comment. Thank you so much, Minxie Martin, for bringing that up, because that was actually a sign, but we just didn't realize it, that there was no big announcements for birthday. There was no glossy photo shoots like we usually get. There were all these strange articles that Kate was at her mother's house. They decided to let us know that. There were no big like happy, but I don't even know, did the royal household tweet happy birthday, or did
I didn't
they...
see anything.
I don't remember.
No. And that's the weird
So there
thing.
was
It's like,
that as well.
yeah. So let me ask you a question. You have one of your senior younger royals who's like the next, what, I don't know what you want to call it, queen mother to be or whatever. You know, you have someone so high ranking who's supposed to be continuing the legacy of the monarch and bringing modernization into this institution so that it can survive another next couple of generations, have a birthday that happened during a time when she is not well, and you do not even, across your mass amount of UK tabloid institutions, release even a congratulatory "we hope you get well soon" in the papers. Nothing. Okay? There was that issue. And even beyond that, like, you have you have William, like, just not handling things well in public. You have the release of, someone else said, your release of Pippa vacationing with her husband. And I know you made a comment saying, oh, I guess, Kate's probably doing well, but let's think about this a little more conspiratorially. What if these little things, as we know they're not doing well with the public release and how they're laying these things out, what if that image that they're pushing forward is a means to distract from what's really going on? Let's just play it out as if things are well, because why would her sister and her brother-in-law be vacationing and having fun? And she must be okay. She must be doing well. I mean, maybe they just need more privacy, and that's all she wants. And even though it's a serious surgery and we haven't seen her face and they haven't like released any information, and not only is the family not trying to talk about her, but the media is doing a darn good job, right? And not even mentioning Kate's name, like Kate does not exist whatsoever. Let's just pretend that things are all good and these people are just going on with their lives and vacationing, because if something was more serious, like, they wouldn't be doing that, right? So I'm not buying that either. And I think, we can argue and say that, okay, if they really are pulling our strings and they're trying to do this for attention, I think we all know what is going to happen with the backlash from the public, not just us now, but you have vested media institutions that are asking, where's Kate? And are being asked to buy the argument that's being pushed forward, which is Kate just really wants her privacy. Kate just is trying to recover. Kate's doing well. They recently said that Kate moved to where is it? She was recovering
Farringham
in, yeah,
was
she
moved to
moved
Windsor,
from
then
Windsor.
Farringham.
Exactly. And no one got a picture of her en route. I
Yeah,
mean, knowing how desperate and thirsty those media institutions are, we didn't even get a picture or a snap from the car, which they always get.
yeah.
Something is not right here, Anne. And I think we all know that. We're smelling something and it stinks. So all this is happening, and we're only going to really know really at the end of the road, way down the line, maybe a couple months from now, when they run out of excuses or ways to try to distract from what's really happening. It's going to spill over, and we're going to really be able to see what is happening. But as it stands right now, we're not buying it.
No, no. And somebody else made a very good point that even the Christmas card that they released was kind of weird. It was like all Photoshop.
Hmm.
Um, and also, yes, Ladybird, Uncle Gary is due to go into Celebrity Big Brother UK house. Will he be pulled? That's a good question. Does he know what's going on with Kate? And he's a bit of a loose cannon. I mean, there was even stories of him that he was going to write a book. What angle that book was going to take, I'm not sure. But he's definitely a loose cannon. We haven't seen the Middletons. That's also very strange. Then they're definitely not camera shy. I mean, you had James Middleton, Kate's brother, doing a whole paparazzi catwalk at Christmas time. Um, Supposedly snaps candidly out and about. So when these people want to be photographed, they will be photographed. So it is incredibly odd that we have not seen no picture of Kate whatsoever. And also, if um to a point that you made, Lightside, if this whatever is wrong with Kate was just an illness that they could, or something that they could use to garner sympathy, they would. The fact that they're not leads me to believe that she is ill because of something that they're maybe ashamed of. Maybe it's mental health struggles that would clearly be caused by the institution, because this institution drives everybody crazy. That it could possibly be linked to possibly an eating disorder. There have been rumors about that. Um, and that's something that Diana suffered with as well. So I don't, if that was the case, they that's not something that they would want to be made public. Although I think it in terms of relatability and just being open and honest, especially because Kate's meant to be a mental health advocate, I think it would be a good thing if she talked about that. But it's not something that the institution would want to be made public. Um, and also, there's been alleged rumors about possible domestic violence. That maybe that was allegedly the cause of her disappearance. Allegedly, allegedly for the lawyers listening. And that, I mean, would it be shocking? No, because it's something that Harry has talked about: domestic violence happening within the family between
Hmm.
him and William. It could also be, and I'm just going through theories here, that there is actually nothing wrong with Kate at all. That this could all just be one big PR farce, but then that would contradict with the reports coming from the Spanish media. Also begs the question, if those reports have any truth to them, who is leaking to the Spanish media, and why did they specifically choose to leak to that particular journalist? Um, I don't know. Can you throw in any more theories, Lightside?
Yeah, I mean, you covered quite a bit of them, but I would also add to something that you said about the garnering of sympathy, because Princess Diana had also gone through it. See, unfortunately, and this, someone had mentioned this about the New York mayor in response to Harry and Meghan making a statement that there was or there are people saying that they had been chased through New York, and the mayor coming out, excuse me, saying that with the heavy traffic in New York, that was improbable or not likely, but they're going to go back and take a look. Um, I think there was a point made saying, why didn't New York come out and actually clarify that statement after? And I think someone said it's not their motto to do that. And a lot of times these larger institutions or entities, when they make a mistake, they're very shy about stepping up and saying, you know what, we were wrong. We want to correct that. So in this situation, they're not going to want it to be known that now you have a second princess who is now having the same issue as the prior one. What does that point to? It means there's something seriously wrong within the institution.
Yeah,
And they
exactly.
cannot have that. They need to have this image of this is a well-run oiled machine. Now we already know that's not true. But there's something deep-seated there. If the women and it's not just, it wouldn't just allegedly be Kate if it is a mental issue. Meghan also went through that, right? And we already know the reasons why that happened with her. So now you have 3 women within this institution that are not getting the support or did not get the support that they really needed. And what is the cause of that? Why is this happening? What is wrong with how you're running that institution and that business that you have that is causing so much duress in these women, allegedly, if that is the case that's wrong with her? Right? So they can't have that point to them at all. And they need to cover that as much as possible. And also, it would also likely tie back to the UK press because they are very much intertwined with the royal family.
Yes, indeed.
So
And that
there's
relationship between the press and the royals is just so toxic.
Toxic, very, very toxic. This weird symbiotic toxicity that's like circulating between them. And the journalist that you talk about, the Spanish journalist, I think her name is Concha Coleja. She's not backing down. And I remember, I think initially I forwarded some stuff to you. You were like, I got to look into this because I'm not really sure how legit this is. But I remember in one of those articles, she'd mentioned that she, in fact, has a connection within the royal household. Not strange for them to be leaking stuff, as we know, to different sources. So who that person is, I'm sure they don't want anyone to know. And I'm sure that person is continuing to feed some information to her because, as you said, if there's any truth behind this, and I think I've heard other news sources say this, if there's any truth behind or any non-truth behind what she has been publishing, the royal family would have their legal team all over that and they would shut it down. They haven't done that yet.
Indeed. And there's also a possibility one of the things that I missed out was that there were rumors towards the end of last year that a major royal divorce is coming, and could it be that Kate was served with divorce papers? Did she maybe have a breakdown? Or, is this maybe some kind of a delay tactic? And there were also very weird leaks about William being taken by surprise of Kate's hospitalization. So if this was a planned abdominal surgery, why was William surprised? And why how many times did he visit her? There was that one time, and then did he visit her again?
Well,
I
we
don't think
didn't.
he did.
We did not see him based on any of the photos that were published or anything in the papers officially corroborating the fact that he went back and saw her. The papers indicated that he had visited her again. But, just like how they say that Kate is doing well, whatever, I'm not believing anything until I actually see some sources.
Because I think if they really wanted to put on a good PR show, wouldn't William have been there, the supportive husband, to pick her up and take her from hospital? And then there were also articles about Kate needing several nurses to look after her at home. And then you got to ask, well, okay, there were no further details about what type of abdominal surgery that she had, and there's many that she could have had, but what type of surgery or what type of illness needs, 3-4 months to recover from?
And it's more than that too, because what did they push it out till later this year?
Yeah, to like 9 months.
So, and I know this did not go over your head, but the one last thing I was going to say to you, really quick was that I want you guys, and I know, everyone in this chat probably has already seen this, but have you guys noticed that the subtle hints they've been throwing about this mental connection, this
Yes. Oh, of
possibility
course.
of mental support needed for Kate?
Angela
And they
Levin.
and yes, she being the first one, and of late recently, the statement that was released in a headline by someone else is saying something like it was, I can't remember the details, but it was leaning more towards um, her getting through this state that she's in, and again leaning towards a mental tie again. And I'm like, what is going on? It is less physical than it is psychological, it seems. So I believe they do know something. Some of them are not able to speak. I think a lot of them are choosing not to speak because they have an agreement. But there's a lot more going on there, and I think it is leaning towards some of our theories that allegedly there might be may have been a possible mental break or something leaning to that may have occurred along with other things possibly, so
And there was a very strange article from GB News saying that Kate was recovering in isolation. Now, why would she need to be in
that
isolation? Who
word
would she need to be isolated from,
exactly. Yeah.
or why?
They choose their words very carefully. Just like how
Mhm.
they all release the same talking point about William, the rationale for William not showing up to this memorial that happened recently. I think you posted about that. It was like four different individuals backing the UK family
Yeah,
that literally caught word for word, posted the exact same lingo
same.
talking
Yes.
about why William was MIA, which leads us to ask the question, why was he really MIA?
Hmm. Indeed. Where was he on Sunday? I'd love to know that. Does anybody know?
Yeah. So we can always make some assumptions, and we talked about the bruising, we talked about this event that you have the picture showing up on when he was at this event, the first one that I think he had after apparently his wife's sickness. And he was notably off during this situation. A lot of people were speculating that maybe he had a little too much to drink, allegedly, for any lawyers that are listening. Um, and that maybe that was the reason why he looked so disheveled, I would say, even in the uniform. But we also all noticed the little rocking thing that he was doing. And
Mhm.
my theory for that is that was very there's some things that we do, how sometimes you sit down and you cross your leg and you start shaking it, but you're not really thinking about shaking the leg, it's kind of going off on its own while you're doing some stuff. I like saw him rocking like that, and the first thing I thought of was that he was checked out, that whatever stressor he has that he's dealing with, whatever trauma that happened that he's dealing with mentally is visibly showing physically, and that rocking tendency that he was doing was something very directly tied
Yeah.
to whatever trauma situation that we do not know about as yet that is happening with him, right?
Yeah,
That was
because
not a
I
Mhm.
Yeah, because we've watched the Royals stand for the national anthem how many times? Have you ever seen William do that? No.
Never. Mm-mm.
That was very unusual.
Very. So they can hide and cover as much as they want, but as he's looked very haggard lately. He's slipping up. I think they're trying to tell him he needs to keep it together, especially during this time to make things seem as normal as possible. We're trying to do that. Everyone's trying to do this to kind of like keep the rhetoric going the way that we'd like it to go. But he's very much messing up. He's messing up.
Yeah. And, as the days go on and the press get more bloodthirsty, it's going to be interesting to see how William and also how the palace handle this all, because people, now it's gone out of the royal space and out of the Sussex squad space and into mainstream conversation, and this is not 1997, this is not the Danny years. They no longer have the control over the narrative anymore. Social media has pretty much ensured that they don't have that control, even though I think maybe in their minds they like to pretend that they do. And you know I think with Harry and Meghan's documentary, with Harry's Spare, them getting their side of the story out, people are starting to see more that the UK press cannot be counted on for the truth. But we're now also seeing the UK press doing a 360 and seemingly going after William. Interestingly, not going after Camilla.
Well, I
Camilla
mean,
hasn't
that's
been
not
getting much
surprising.
heat.
No, she
No, she
hasn't, and
has
she won't.
indeed. Anyway, that was pretty much all. That's the full timeline, and all the theories that I have. Um, I think that history does have a way of repeating itself. We know that this is a ghastly institution. We know what it does to everyone who's in it, especially the women. Um, or you know, all in all, I hope, even though she's not my favorite person, I hope that whatever is happening to Kate, she can have the strength to um perhaps have the bravery that Diana did. Maybe she can dig deep down and break free from this, and also just be truthful and honest about her own shortcomings. I think that would be the best conclusion to all of this. The truth always sets you free, and for sure, it will set her free from this institution because clearly it has just eaten her alive. I think she thought she could play the game and she would be saved, but you're only as good as what you can give this institution. And if you are a woman, that is your womb and some heirs, and then when you've done that, that's pretty much it. They're done with you. I think the best conclusion to all of this would be for Kate to be honest, fess up to her shortcomings, and I'm putting it nicely there. Um, and that I think, yeah, it might have her hated by some people, but I think it would also, I actually think it would be the best thing for her from a PR perspective, just to say, yes, I was part of the smear campaign, um, but um, I think if she thinks that she can continue to play along with this institution, I think it will absolutely be the end of her. Kate's
Yeah.
actually in a very good position to get sympathy from people if she plays her cards right, regardless of the fact that she had a huge part to play. I feel in the attacks against Meghan. If she plays her cards right, I think she's a lot more powerful than what she may even realize. But she has to be honest.
Yeah, and I think you're right that she could get a lot of sympathy because there's there's something about being self-deprecating that usually gets sympathy from a lot of people, especially when someone
Yeah,
has really gone wrong.
yeah,
However, I question if she would I question if she would even have the gumption to do that for a number of
yeah.
reasons. And
Of
that
course.
yeah, and I think we both agree with that, but I understand what you're saying, and I think that in order for her to even there's okay, let me put it this way. Some of us have this internal drive to literally burn the house down if it means that we're going to get burnt up in it, right? And those are the
Mhm.
crazier of us that like I'm gonna take you down even if it means I'm gonna go down too, just so you know.
The Diana
And then
way. The Diana way.
the Diana way. And there's some of
Yeah.
us that's like, you know what? I think I want to live a little more. I don't really want to do that. Um, and so in doing that, we kind of like shy away from being that bold. And it's self-preservation. And there's nothing wrong with self-preservation. It's innate in humans to want to survive. So I would say that she is not the type that will burn the house down for a fact.
No.
I think she's
Mhm.
um even if what we see in Kate um outwardly is someone that seems like she's very much controlled. I
Yeah.
don't know if we fully know if she's really capable of manipulation behind the scenes in some way. And I also do not believe that she is the type nor does she have the support, I believe, because I don't even think her own mother is the type
Yeah.
that would cut herself from money. I think her mother sees dollar signs, and I don't even know the
And
woman, like
and
you say,
and she herself is desperate for money because Party Pieces has gone to pieces.
because of that. So any way she can sell her daughter a little more down the river, she'll do it. And so she's not encouraging, she will never encourage her daughter to come clean, as we would say it, and to just step out and say, you know what? I was in a very dark place. I did Megan wrong. I was a
Mhm.
part of this institution that really caused her a lot of pain. I apologize to my brother-in-law for X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
And I'm ashamed of that. And I'm saying this because as someone that has gone through something that has been very hard to deal with and someone that's felt isolated, I wanna be able to share this with everyone and have peace
Mhm.
within myself. She's not gonna do that.
Yeah.
She's
And
never gonna do that.
even though it might be the only thing to actually save her, I think you're right. I don't think she has the backbone to do it.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, she lacks a support system and she lacks the backbone to do it. So I think for now, we'll see what happens with her. Because, yeah, this would be her chance to get out, and I think she beyond William, she's definitely more popular than William, and she would likely get more sympathy from especially some of those royalists, um, in regards to her coming out and saying something like that, and maybe would open up more eyes because to them, that's their princess, you know? But
Yeah.
she's not gonna do it, and again, you know, you go back to the institution being a lot darker than we all really understand it to be. And there's some
Mhm.
stuff that is there that we probably don't know about that would be likely, criminal,
Yeah.
I would guess, you know? So, you know, who knows if they're threats or they're warnings? Like, what was the language that the wasp, the bee, and whoever else was saying to Harry?
Mm.
Like, "We can't have you do that." You know, like,
Mhm.
very veiled warnings, not like,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna off you, but you need to be careful and watch your step." I believe that this woman is very much been kept within the confines of the lines, and she has, been groomed for that role since God knows when, and someone that is in that kind of mental situation is not gonna all of a sudden get the gumption to step out and say, "Imma burn the house down."
Mm. Indeed, but the
I
problem is,
agree.
if she don't break out that castle, she gon' burn down with that castle because it's crumbling. And I'm just
Yeah.
gonna I've most of my predictions have been pretty accurate so far. I'm just gonna say that I think that before this year ends, something, um, so so big and so damaging is gonna come out about the royal family that you might actually see the very beginnings of people calling, like, at a much larger scale for the monarchy to be abolished. I really do think that there is something so dark that's gonna come out that is really gonna shake the palace walls.
Mhm. But
Um,
your theories have been right so far, and you know, and I said this to you in private, like, that you had said months ago that we might see the media start turning against them,
mhm,
you know, and I think it's been very obvious lately what has been going on, and I don't think it's gonna slow down. So, you know, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's still very early on in 2024. A lot has happened already, and yeah, I stay tuned. You know.
indeed, indeed. And with that, I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much, Lightside, for coming along. Always great contributions. And I just want to say thank you to Andrea H for the coffees and to Black Queen for the coffees, and also to Lillian M, if you are still listening from the last podcast, for the PayPals. Right. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry I can't read all of your comments, but I have been reading them, and interesting theories from you all. Um, also, yeah, I guess time is going to tell as the days uh go on. Uh, more people are going to be asking questions and wondering where is Kate. Um, yeah, I guess it's just a waiting game. And given how this institution treats people in it and treats women in it, I think your craziest conspiracy theory might just be true. All right, have a fantastic day, everyone. Share this video around, hit that thumbs up button on your way out, subscribe if you haven't already, and enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao.
If you would keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, no. Keep coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. Ocean in between us, still I feel your heartbeat. There's something about you, baby, that makes me feel complete. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, no. Keep coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. The world is going wild when they call for you, and the river's running dry when it all falls through. Don't you worry about a thing, baby, I got you. Yeah, baby, I got you.
Hello, my royal diamonds. Thank you so much for tuning into the Duchess of Success podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment on the video to help the algorithm find us. It is my pleasure to bring you all of the royal tea, honey. And if you would like to donate to the channel, please check out the links in the description box. All of your donations help to keep the channel running. Thank you for your support, and remember, you don't need a crown to be royal. We are all queens.